Madam Webb drops a trailer finally. So does Kraven. Bunch of news and some reviews of some latest Amazing Spider-Man. Next here on the Spideydude Experience. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Spideydude Experience. I'm Zach Joyner. As always, before we get started here on our episode, we have our friends over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Friends such as Adam, Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Jurgen, Catherine, Kale, Keegar, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Drammond, Phoenician, Scott, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you guys for your support over on patreon.com/Spideydude Network. We also have our spectacular patron in Sarah Petzel, and we got friendly neighborhood ones you see on the screen. Our VIPs are Scott, Sebastian, Vinkman, and Winnipeg Webhead. Thank you guys for your support over on patreon.com. Of course, we have other great shows here on the network, shows such as our Vault series, Clone Saga Chronicles, the show all about the Clone Saga and the Clone Saga related characters. We got Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, definitive podcast where we cover each and every episode of that 26 episode series. We have Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the show all about Spider-Man and his world from the beginning. We have the Sabusema era podcast, which just launched its newest series, Webb of Music, talking about the musical scores behind the films over on the Sabusema era podcast channel. Got Voices from the Area, Gargoyles podcast that covers all things gargoyles from the comic books to the animated series. And of course, our Slot Symposium show is the sister show to this very show. So if you like this show, let us know by leaving us a comment down below. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe. Let us know how we're doing by leaving us feedback. If you're an audio listener, we're going to make some references to visual aids and or live comments. Pay that no mind as you listen. And if you're watching us live, thank you. And if you're watching us after the fact, thank you as well. So welcome to the show. I am your friendly neighborhood host, Zach Joyner. And I am joined, as always, by Senior Rek-Rapper himself.
It's me.
Why is Pepe the Frog behind you?
He's not.
Okay. I don't know what I'm seeing.
Is there a background or?
Yes, there is a background right now. Do you see it, Adam? Or am I just?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Why? It says there's no virtual background.
I don't know, but there's a Pepe Frog background. A sad Pepe. Oh,
is it God. Like is the disgust one?
Yes. We got Vinkman in the house. We also got Tevye. Hello, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching us live. Anyway, so tonight we're going to be covering some news. What the? Hope for you, those of you watching on YouTube, you can see I also got a bit of a different camera setup. So that was something that's new. Using my phone. So before we got a lot of news that we're going to be covering tonight. Neil is going to be throwing up the articles up on the screen. So if you are listening to us on the audio edition, I am going to apologize here in advance again, so that way everybody knows. But some of the biggest news that's dropped, we're going to start this was a few weeks ago, but we haven't talked about it on the show. And as you guys know, I'm a big toy guy. And they dropped a new wave for next year. This is the announcement for next year.
Is this the Marvel Legends link?
This is the Marvel Legends stuff, yes. So there was two announcements that happened a couple of days apart. MCM London is a London Comic Con that they announced 3 of the figures, and then they announced on 10/27, they announced the other 3 figures. Now, he's pulled up Big Bad Toy Shop's listings for the pre-orders. So first up, we've got Hallows Eve, based off of Janine Gabe. She is obviously the titular character, the breakout character of, I use that in air quotes, of Dark Web. It's actually a really good looking female figure. If you want to pull that up and kind of show the audience so she comes with the satchel that we've seen a lot and reused a lot. This is completely pinless, and she also comes with 2 alternative masks. They do not attach to her face, but she gets to hold them. This is also in the newer style carding. So they debuted this carding this year. So if you want something to go with your chasm, this is it. They've been doing this over the last couple of waves. The This year's wave had Daredevil, and they also had the Elektra that from the current run. And then, of course, one of the breakout stars of the Zeb Wells era is, it's Tombstone. So we get a new Tombstone. Now, they did release a Tombstone back in the day, which was more in the classic, bodysuit type thing. It was not in a suited body like this. This is based off of his very first appearance. Also, if you're a fan of Spectacular Spider-Man, this is definitely the style of which he was on that show. It's got the pinstripe shirt and the black suit. Also completely penless. Comes with an alternate head swap and a crowbar. He is in the 90s style retro card. So if you're a retro card collector like myself, you'll be getting 2 of these probably. Looks really good. And then a surprising one for me, which was they label him Spider Shot. Obviously, they can't label him as Spider-Man Assassin.
I think that's his marketing name overall.
Yeah, Spider Shot, I guess, is his marketing name. This is based off of the What If comic that came out a few years ago. What if
Spider-Man was edgy and he used a gun?
Yeah, so he comes with some pointer fingers that indicate that you can shoot out of the web shooters. Pretty good sculpt. I like this sculpt. This was based off of the Alex Ross design. So if you're a fan of Alex Ross, this is definitely one of those that you want to get. Also in the newer style card packaging.
Did they use Black Widow's arms as a mold for this?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, it's Assassin Spider-Man, but they can't.
So yeah, Assassin Spider-Man.
Because it doesn't look good for parents who want to buy a toy for their kid and go.
Yeah, because these are going to be out in the public. So, which again, I would have made that a fan channel personally. So, retro card collection Jack-O-Lantern. Now, this is the classic version of Jack-O-Lantern. This looks really, really good. He comes with the disc. They did do a Jack-O-Lantern a number of years ago, but it was not this style. It was more of the modern style. So this is your classic 1980s Jack-O-Lantern. This thing sold out at Hasbro Pulse in like 10 minutes on the pre-orders. So it is available for pre-order over on Big Bad. You pay an extra $1, but you get the pre-order. It's also on the 90s style retro card. Let's do the next, not that one. We'll do that one last because obviously I'm most excited about that one. This was. So the Jack-O-Lantern and this one and the last one we're doing, these were announced on the live stream. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Last Stand Spidey from ASM 500, aka also you can make this your Ezekiel Spidey because he was Ezekiel in Spider-Verse. I love this design. It's nice that we're getting it. It doesn't look like there's a lot of app crunch, but surprisingly on Dan who is based out of the UK, he did a bit of a video on Instagram saying that there's a lot more opposability than you think. But because of the jacket, it kind of somewhat limits the articulation. Something that is not limited on his articulation, despite having a overlay on his chest, is the retro-carded Scarlet Spider. I lost my damn mind when I saw this. This is the definitive Scarlet Spider to me.
He's cooming. Zach's cooming.
Oh, shut up. This one is probably going to be on par with the Mafex, which I do have in my possession now. Since last time we recorded, I do have the Mafex. I'm going to do a full review of this guy at some point soon. So be looking out for that. Really great figure. Thank you to Greg again for getting that for me. But this one's, this one is great. This one looks great. He's got the toe articulation. He's got the full set of hands. He's got the crawly hands. He's got the fist hands. He's got the web hands. So you can put him in all sorts of different poses. Comes on the 90s style retro card. This is the one that since they started doing the retro card, after they did the Spider Ben, this is the one I've wanted. So I was very, 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 very excited.
Real quick, I brought it up earlier, but Tevye, who's Ben Reilly?
It's Ben Reilly, buddy. I know. But yes, Neil was frozen, but now he's fine.
Yes, now I've actually gone and put the frog there. You're looking at Pepe for the rest of the night.
I guess so. Anyway, so that is the first news topic. Those are available for pre-order on Entertainment Earth. I don't know if they're still available on Hasbro Pulse, but also Big Bad Toy Shop. All those are available for pre-order. They're scheduled to come out in May, though I would not be surprised if they don't hit in March. Reason I say that is because the No Way Home figures that we said were coming out early next year may be coming out in time for Black Friday this week. So they may be street dated for Black Friday. I have not gotten confirmation from Target. I've heard some rumors that they're starting to be seen out in the wild. So I don't know. I know Target tends to street date their stuff. So once that occurs, then the Moon Knight is out, as well as the AF-15 that we talked about here on the channel. Those are available for sale at Targets right now, so you can go find those. I would suspect that there's going to be a sale on those. I still want a Mayday Parker Spider-Girl as well, Tevia. I see that in the comments. But until we get... I mean, we've had the one that was from 2013. She is due for a update. She's one of those. She's one of several that's due.
You'll get the Funko Pop in that set.
if that doesn't take a year for us to freaking get. Anyway. So next story.
Also, Zach, one of the links you posted, the Kraven trailer, that's from Screen Culture. They just make up trailers and premiere and then pretend it's like official.
Well, I don't know. This looked all completely new, dude. So let me double check that on the Kraven trailer. Because this had new footage and like new voiceovers. So let me. Oh. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I haven't.
Was Russell Crowe in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Kraven's dad, I think.
Yeah. So okay, well maybe never mind. There's not a new trailer yet. Sorry, guys.
Oh no new Kraven trailer. Whatever will I do?
But I can confirm that the original trailer dropped in June.
So that was before, just
right before the actor strike, yeah. So, and they have not changed the release date on that, so it is still scheduled for August of next year. Okay, now they did do a trailer release today, as of this recording, of Madam Webb. Adam, have you seen this trailer? Are we going to do another live reaction?
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
Okay.
I love the headline. Madam Webb's first trailer will leave you wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
This is from The Verge. The links for these articles and stuff are down in the description. So if you want to read these yourself, you can certainly should we do? Yeah, well, we won't do a reading of it, but it's like it is a utterly bizarre trailer.
Yeah.
The costumes look good.
Yeah, that's do. I was going to say, these are like some of the most faithful costumes that I've seen a Sony produced film do. They got the costume.
What we can see of them, at least, we can kind of barely see them.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to like have a motivational speech, Spice Girls, zigga zig ah, and then they're going to get third act costumes. So they can fight not Kane for 15 minutes, and then we'll all feel pain.
Listen, I mean, I will go because I feel like I'm contractually obligated as a Spider-Man show to go watch this film. I watched Morbius, and this has got to be better than that. But
no, it doesn't.
You never know.
I'm going to watch
Morbius
dialogue in the trailer is kind of
it's like I'm watching 50 Shades again. I'm about to.
Well, I mean, listen, Sydney. I mean, both her and both Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney have done enough nudity. I mean,
listen, as long as I don't have to hear "I turned as red as the Communist Manifesto" uttered out of one of their mouths again, I'll be okay.
So yeah, this trailer is wild because Ezekiel Sims is the antagonist.
I blew Zach's mind with the rumor that Adam Scott is supposed to be Uncle Ben.
Yeah, that's the rumor. Isn't that? I think that's actually on the IMDb page.
I think it is. Hang on, let's look it up.
So Travis Mitchell says, "I know very little about wrestling or whatever his name was, but looks like Kane's ass from WWE."
Okay.
Oh,
Here we go. Yeah, Ben Park. Oh no!
Oh,
Is that real?
why? Are we
Jill
gonna
Hennessy.
I swear to
beautiful
God, if-
woman.
Damn, Jill Hennessy. Okay, yeah, beautiful.
I mean,
Mike
true,
Epps?
but
Oh, Emma Roberts is Mary Parker?
I guess.
Oh no.
Right. They. Oh my god. Yeah, this is
But why?
Is Isabella Merced the girl who played what's her face from Transformers 5?
I have no idea. I have no
Oh, she was Dora. She was Dora the Explorer in that one movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Sydney Sweeney obviously is the big, like her and Dakota Johnson are like the big gets on this. Emma Roberts is a pretty big get too as Mary, but
What's Celeste O'Connor done? Freaky. Oh, she's in the new Ghostbusters movie.
not
The one
surprised.
that's
She was in
coming
Superman
out.
and Lois, looks like. Or no, that's
Oh,
TV show.
was she Natasha Irons?
No, I thought that was something else, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
New Ghostbusters.
Anyways, new Madam Web movie not look good.
So for the record, we're going to get 4 Spider Women. We got Madam Web, played by
It's Cassandra Webb. Madam
Cassandra Webb, who is suspiciously characterized at like this characterization is like the modern characterization of Julia Carpenter.
right.
Speaking of
She's wearing the
Julia
jacket
Carpenter,
too.
Yeah, she got the red jacket and everything. You got Julia Carpenter as Spider Woman, and then you have a Spider Woman, and then you have another Spider Woman with Maddie Franklin, and then Anya Corazon as I'm assuming Spider Girl. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so we have 4 Spider Girls against 1 Spider Man in Ezekiel Sims in a costume that looks really, really
not
really
bad.
It looks okay.
It looks
kinda
okay.
cool.
It's just I have no idea what they were going for here.
Right.
They have taken a like
They took
on
away the
one
worst
hand-
lessons of the MCU.
the girls' costumes look great in the trailer
Do
from
we
what we
wanna-
see, the little glimpses.
What we can see of them, I'm sure.
I mean, it probably helps to have a visual aid.
Yeah, so for those,
Yeah, they're gonna look like this for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then,
yeah,
and
so
then
that's
they'll
apparently
get
that's
those super
Maddie.
suits.
Next year.
So that's okay. So Sydney Sweeney is playing Julia,
Yeah,
and I am going to
There-
bet
oh.
5. There it is.
there we go.
So
That
this
was
is
awful.
That looks kind of cool.
this is what we've
It's like
seen. in
Kane
terms
or
of-
something. It's like an
It's like
Ursat Kane thing.
It's like
Yeah,
it's like
it looks like
X-
Clone Saga Kane.
It kind of does. It kind of looks like
and
Kane's design.
You kind of mentioned Earth X Mayday.
Yeah, Earth X. Like it's like a
Oh, yeah.
it's like a mixture of Spider-Man meets Earth X Mayday meets Kane.
I guess so.
Yeah, this actually
mean,
looks pretty good. All
that
things
looks
considered.
That looks good. That looks good.
Or just that like half.
You know, that looks like Julia, and Sydney Sweeney. Look, she can fill out that costume.
That costume actually looks really good, even with the obviously CGI prosthetics.
Yeah,
They
that
kind of
looks
have to
pretty
do
good.
CGI for that, but the costume itself actually looks pretty good.
Yeah,
It looks like a costume.
you know,
Doesn't just have
good.
ugly. It doesn't just have like lines all over the place like a Jim Lee drawing. So
yeah. Well, it's definitely based off of Maddie Franklin's final costume in her
Mhm.
series.
I'm gonna see if I can find the picture of someone posted a picture of like comic book costume, and then the MCU version is like the same costume with a bunch of lines and muted colors. Let's see if I can find
Travis
it.
does make a good point. He says one pattern he noticed is the trailers for these emphasize one action sequence, and then you find out it's essentially the only action sequence in the movie: bike chasing Venom, shipping Morbius, ambulance, and this. So yeah, I have not watched Venom 2, to be honest. So maybe we should do a commentary for Patreon of the Venom movies.
We need to finish MTV Man before we do that.
I see what you're pulling up while you're on the
That's a fair
screen.
point.
This is a fair point, Neil. It's a mannequin of a man. It says normal superhero costume, and it's got like kind of basic design, and then MCU superhero costume, and it's like
lines all over the place.
A bunch of like piping and stuff like that all over the place. Yeah. So, wow, coming in right after his B-Day party. Cool to talk about Spider-Man. Radiac, happy birthday, buddy! As of this recording.
Happy birthday, comrade. Let's see the comments. Okay, so spam for crypto. My only fear is that they overdo the Spider People team up thing again. Oh, look, another Spidey verse movie that lacks temple character Spider-Man. Well, okay. Yeah. Sony Pictures is really proud of having the legal rights to hundreds of Marvel characters, and they kindly ask you to ignore the fact that 95% of them are only notable because sometimes Spider-Man talks to them.
Okay, we don't know. We don't know why
like a CW show.
Oof. Vinkman says people are going to need more alcohol if you're going to do a commentary for Venom 2. That might be in.
Not sure I was aware. I'm not sure that I was aware that this is going to be a mid-2000s period piece, but the CRT monitor and guy on the train playing an original PSP definitely hinted that direction. In the end, we all grow old.
Well, they're not adapting Trouble yet, Radiac.
Oh, they have the funniest opportunity if Adam Scott is Uncle Ben.
And Emma Roberts.
We have the chance to do the funniest fucking thing.
God.
Adam Scott just turns to the camera and says, "I'm sterile."
Oh my god.
Oh god, that's such a. For those that don't know, Trouble is a. They don't even have okay. Marvel wants to bury the fact that Trouble exists so bad. They don't even have it on Marvel Unlimited for posterity's sake. And it's got the Dodsons doing artwork for it.
It's a collector's item.
Yeah.
The next time Mark
rare
Millar
media, lost media.
The next time Mark Millar opens his trap about how comics are bad now, I'm going to bring up Trouble and say, "Is this you?"
So, moving on to the IGN article that I have there, Neil.
Oh yeah, the Spider-Man one. Yeah. So,
Spider-Man 2 is the best-selling game of October in the U.S.
Why is Super Mario Brothers Wonder on here?
I don't know. Don't ask me why IGN has that on there. That's
why they combine two articles. What the hell?
I don't know. So Marvel Spider-Man 2 is now available, obviously, on PS5. Spoilers, I have not watched it. I have avoided watching any spoilers.
I haven't watched the 7-hour movie on Gamer's Little Playground.
Yeah, so I have not played it yet. I got to watch Gerard play it for like 5 minutes.
And then he got married, so
well, no, so it was the night before his wedding, and he was going to let me play for like an hour or two.
Wait, Travis. Trouble was in your elementary school library?
Why?
Was that the sex ed book?
Along with Rain? Oh my, okay. Listen.
I was joking, but are these actually like the sex ed books in your library?
Oh, God. Oh, nobody read the book before they put it in the library. Jesus Christ. Anyway, back to Marvel Spider-Man 2, something significantly better than Trouble. Yeah, so the reviews are raving. Everybody seems to have loved this game. There was a few minor issues I think they've addressed in a patch, like
the white cube.
The what cube? The fact that they put the Cuban flag instead of the Puerto Rican flag for Miles's in one of the Miles's scenes. The suits look really, really good and exceptional. They do have the Scarlet Spider. Yeah, that's my. Ugh.
I'm gonna be honest. The best drip for Miles is the Jazz suit. It's the one.
Yeah,
it's that one. That's the best costume in the game.
I think the movie costumes are really good.
If you're not playing, the best Miles costume is the Jazz.
The ones from the first game are all still good. I do like that you can alter some of these. I like the auto suits though, like the Superior Spider-Man suit.
The Superior Octopus Reed skin actually looks really good.
But now this has every one of the Spider-Man film suits, so you can play as Andrew, you can play as Toby, you can play as in both suits on Toby's side. He's got the black suit and the.
You can play as Yuri Lowenthal playing Tobey Maguire, playing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all these look really, really good. Are those the comic books?
No, those are the original. Yeah, those are the ones for ASM and Superior.
Gotcha. So I haven't heard anything on the DLC yet.
No, there's nothing there.
No news on that yet, but we know it's probably coming. I think they want to give it a couple. I think they're probably not going to say anything until the first of the year. Somebody said that Wolverine is far closer to completion and closer to release than everybody thinks. So possibly having the Wolverine game coming out next year, which will be interesting.
I know we're past the movies, but Radiex says that that the clones are an interesting idea as a main guy. The problem is they don't want someone who's too close to Spider-Man because then they have to compete directly with Marvel or with Marvel Studios.
Or Marvel has to acknowledge that they exist. Because as it stands
not the other way around, because only Sony. Yeah. It's like how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. interacted with Marvel, but Marvel didn't interact with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, that's funny, Walter. It was located in the horror section.
But yeah, basically, Spider-Man 2 sold good.
Yep.
Yeah. Just wanted to give an update on Spider-Man 2, just kind of since we were talking about it. Definitely one of those things.
We're not going to talk about the Adidas suit.
The final suit that I guess he wears.
Yeah,
the new suit.
The
I'm sorry. Pretty much all the ones. I'm going to say this: all the ones that are not comic book inspired are outside of the original. Like,
I really hope the post-launch support this game gets isn't just, hey, an artist paid us to put their Spider-Man suit in the game.
Like most of these, I'm sorry, I don't like them.
This one's from Champions, right? This is the one from the D&D realm they got sucked into. I think I don't know. I never read Champions. I'm the only one here who read Champions.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, this costume, the Miles Morales original 1 of 1, you can buy at Adidas for $300, I believe.
Oh yeah, because like you can I saw the shoes. Like they have Adidas made a deal with
Zach. You don't know. You can buy the entire thing.
What?
Yeah.
Well. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, if Forbes will, cooperate, we're,
Fine. I'm going to Kotaku. You can buy it. You can buy the whole thing. A Miles Morales original, baby.
Oh, it's like workout gear.
Put that in the private chat. I'll add it to the description after the episode. So,
do you think Adidas paid them, or do you think it was?
Oh no, Adidas. No, they reached
right?
out. They reached out to Adidas to. Okay, Adidas made a deal.
This is $50 each piece?
Yes.
How much do the shoes cost?
Probably $100.
I bet you
I'm going to the Adidas shop.
So there, I know there's okay. So I know, go back up. You missed it.
Right.
That's the one.
160?
Oh yeah, that's pretty standard for Adidas shoes, dude.
Who pays this much?
That's pretty standard for any tennis shoe.
Nuh-uh.
I promise. Like, unless you get it on sale, like I paid $100 for my Under Armour shoes, and Nikes are about the same. Unless you go to the outlets.
Depends on the style too.
Yeah, I know Jordans I know Jordans are about 160.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Thanks, sneakerheads.
Yeah.
I hate you all.
When you're talking like designer tennis shoes by Adidas.
Okay, well, that's a difference. There's a difference between like sneaker and then designer brand. Designer brand, yeah.
So all these are available on Adidas's website. I do like the red and black shoes though. Those look pretty freaking slick. Not that one. I'm talking about the one on the other, the last link.
But this is the one to complete the fit.
I don't care about Miles's fit. I like Miles, but I don't care about. I do not care.
There's that one streamer, like he's playing the game, and then Miles lands next to Peter, and he goes, "What the fuck are you wearing?"
Oh boy! Obvious spoilers. We didn't have a spoiler tag. All right, so
I mean, it's not a spoiler if you've been on Twitter at all.
That's true. All right, so let's move to the comic stuff.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
So
anyways, big announcement. Big announcement.
Yes. So Spectacular Spider-Man proves 2 webheads are better than 1. This was a press release done yesterday. As of this recording, It was published yesterday on November 14th of 2022. So whenever you're listening to this, if you're listening to the audio edition, 23, 2022, not 20, 23, not 22. So this was done by Marvel. They are announcing a new comic starring Miles and Peter, and they even had like a little official trailer.
7 years too late.
I know.
It's about time.
It's about time that this has occurred, but we don't know if it's an ongoing or a mini yet. This is coming out in March. Going to be written by
Wiseman said on Twitter that it's an ongoing if people buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So guys, we're going to be talking about this with Ultimate 2, but if you enjoy this particular dynamic, go and buy the book. You're on the hook. You're honor bound and duty bound to read this book and buy it if you want to see it continue. Marvel doesn't get sales from piracy, so
go to your comic shop.
At least if the book is good. If the book isn't good, then don't buy it.
Having read most of Greg's recent Gargoyle stuff, it's going to be quality. I have very little doubt that it's not going to be of quality. We have reached out to Greg. We're still dotting some I's and crossing some T's, so maybe we'll have him on a future episode.
We always enjoy having friends of the show on to talk about their upcoming projects.
Yes, and obviously, if you want to also support Greg, go get the Gargoyles comics by Dynamite Entertainment. The main series finished and wrapped with 12. At least the volume has wrapped with 12. They've got the Dark Ages miniseries going on right now. I think they've got another miniseries that's been announced that's coming out soon. So once those complete, then we'll see what happens next. But by all intents and purposes, they've been a pretty good success. The Gargoyles fan base has really done well with them, and so
the Gargoyles fan base is one of those few fan bases that actually mobilizes when a new thing is for sale. So,
yeah. So, but definitely go check this out. We will, when we have more information, we'll bring it to you. But the second thing that was announced, and this was a pretty big announcement.
They dropped this, like everyone freaked out when it was
this
announced.
Was at the end of October. Obviously, we're catching up on some old news here, but Ultimate Spider-Man is married with kids. Going to the new Ultimate Spider-Man series that launches this January is out. The Meet the Parkers cover is done by Ryan Stegman, which
and Elizabeth Quirk.
Yeah. So,
okay, real quick, guys. I know I said it with Spectacular Spider-Man, but if you've been begging for married Peter with like a domestic life that isn't like his wife goes out in a costume with him and fight crime, we're kind of on the hook to make this work, because Marvel will see the sales and see, hey, this translates to success. And unless
I'm also going to say something too. Like either way, Marvel wins here, because if it's a success, guess what?
They keep the marriage in their pocket dimension.
Right. If it doesn't succeed, then they have justification to say, see, it didn't succeed. So this
if you want to win, buy the book.
Yeah, well, and people are like, it's a win. I'm like, guys, you can sit there and gripe and bitch and moan on the internet all you want. You got to go out and buy it. You got to pre-order it. You got to go and get it on your pull list, because the sales of the first couple of issues are going to determine if it's going to continue. It's the same thing with Spectacular Spider-Man. You got to go get it put on your pull list. Right now, I don't know when cutoffs are for Ultimate Spider-Man, but I know cutoffs will be coming very soon. I think in January for Spectacular Spider-Man. So you got to go. You got to go get it. They also teased the second cover for Ultimate Spider-Man with meeting the Goblin.
So Walter asks, why do they always... I'm sorry, Adam, it keeps cutting you out when I bring up the comments. But they asked why they always give Peter a beard when he's married with children. I don't know, but Twitter is already calling him daddy, and that's never a good sign. I do think the premise...
Or is it?
I do think the premise is an interesting one, that Peter has been a normal person for most of his adult life. If you read Ultimate Universe, Tony is still a teenager. So
yeah, this is not your daddy's Ultimate Universe. This is the Ultimate Universe as imagined by Jonathan Hickman.
Which means a lot of charts and a lot of abstract concepts.
Yeah. See Books of X here on the Spideydude Radio Network, a Patreon first show. This is written by Jonathan Hickman. Marco Cicchetto is the artist.
Big get.
Oh God, such a big thing. This has been rumored for a long time. So this is not. This was apparently rumored. I remember the rumors about this going as far back as.
Like after he left the X office with Inferno, right?
Yeah, I think it was rumored around the time that they were wrapping up Beyond. I seem to recall that this was being rumored.
Yeah, there was that thing with Amazing Fantasy 1000.
Yes.
So Radiac makes a good point. I would prefer that they show the progression of Peter getting to a married relationship. Well, I get that.
We ain't got time for that.
I think there's the assumption that it's a relatively stable domestic life, and then whatever shenanigans Tony gets into with the Immortus engine. Because if you read Ultimate Universe, who here read Ultimate Universe? I think Adam did.
I think I read the first issue. I haven't read anything since.
I think it's a one shot.
I read the one shot. Yeah,
it was I was very freaking confused.
But the makers council decides, okay, guys, we're gonna do 9/11 and blame it on Tony. So we're gonna call it 7/11 because it's Diet 9/11.
Jesus.
And May Parker is among the casualties.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine that
Aunt May... a dead Aunt May is always a good Aunt May for me. So that's a joke. That's a joke. As we add more live watch viewers as we're doing.
The worse our jokes get, the more attention we get.
But
it's like it's like wandering into a comedy club to see a drunk guy at open mic night.
Yes. So that we have. Adam, you got any thoughts on both of these books?
I'm probably gonna read both of them.
Rek-Rapper.
I'll pick up Ultimate. I'll probably
test. I like what I'm seeing.
I'll let someone else test the water on. Well, no, I kind of want the Peter Miles thing to work, so I'll probably go ahead and pull it.
I don't think you can really lose. I don't think you can really lose with the Spider-Man book because I don't know.
If you're not a Ramos fan, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, I guess.
Although I gotta say, the artwork that I saw of Ramos on this was good. Like this is the Ramos art.
And he's just so humble about the whole thing. If you read the article on Marvel.com, his little quote is
he said he's nice. Thrilled. He said he's thrilled to be writing Spidey again.
Yeah, so it's like,
and it's also probably nice to have a writer that is going to be able to get you the scripts on a deadline schedule that you're going to be able to really flex your muscles. And I always felt like that, and this is not necessarily a criticism of Ramos as it was of Slott, because they always would call Ramos in to pinch hit. Mm-hmm. And you could tell that the work was rushed. And then I remember looking at the work whenever he did it with Nick Spencer and other books like Champions and stuff like that. The stuff I saw in Champions the same way. Like, if you give him enough lead time, he's gonna. And
I think there's gonna be a monthly.
I was enjoying those Spencer books that he did too.
This is probably gonna be a monthly, so he's probably got a bit more lead time than having to do it twice a month. So
yeah,
McNulty does bring up a good point. It says, that one of the first charts in the new Ultimate Spider-Man will be the timeline of 6160 Peter, and I'm all for it. Is that what they're calling it? 6160?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 6160. Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you think you think we'll see the Maker?
Oh yeah. We got to at this point.
I mean, we've seen him throughout Ultimate Invasion, but
see, I have not read Ultimate Invasions, so
you're missing a lot of context for Ultimate Universe because that's essentially just Ultimate Invasion number 5.
Okay.
There was a bit that made me laugh where Maker tries to go to Miles and says, "Hey man, you want to go back to your old universe?" And Miles just goes, "No, leave me alone."
Damn.
And Maker's just okay, bye. Like, he doesn't even try to force Miles into it. He's just like, okay, bye.
Well, we know that, again, I mean, I think they brought back the original Ultimate Universe, and it exists in its own pocket dimension.
They did,
at the end of Spider-Man, kind of. Spider-Man 2.
At the end of, was it Venom number 27, Maker gets back to Ultimate Universe, but it's on fire and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out. I think Case was supposed to be the guy who wrote Ultimate Invasion, and then he had his accident, and I think Hickman was just like, okay, I'm going to do what I want now.
Okay. Jonathan Hickman does what he wants. Okay, so final thoughts on those?
Basically.
Before we move on?
Good books.
Yeah.
The masculine urge to say we're so back 20 minutes after saying it's all over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What do we say in our group chat? We're eating good. Like
2024 is looking up, man.
Like 2024, we're eating good. Now, if we can just once we get through Gang War, we'll see what happens.
Oh.
But like,
although, yeah, Gang War. I mean, I want to get Gang War here already.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute because obviously we're gonna get to the bulk of the episode. I'm hoping we'll get Paul on here in a sec. In fact, I'm gonna text him and see where he's at.
I do think I know people are like, ew, Ramos, but I think it's better to have a proven quantity or a proven quality on Spider-Man than like risk it with a new artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No,
as much as I would love new blood in The Office, it's probably safer to go with the guy who just finished writing Diet My Hero Academia. Strange Academy. That was Ramos's pet project.
Oh, okay. I had no
Wasn't
idea.
Scotty Young doing that though too?
Oh yeah, Ramos is drawing it, but still, that was kind of their passion project. So
again, here's the thing. Ramos is one of the definitive artists of Spider-Man since the year 2000.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or
He's been drawing the character for like 20 years. So yeah.
Like he's been, like you say, I mean, he's not been drawing it as long as Bagley and Ramita, but like it's been a very long time. He started during the Jenkins run.
Yep.
So that's 2002, 2003.
It's been 20 years.
So it's been 20 years of him drawing Spider-Man on and off. I mean, considering he drew Spider-Man during Brand New Day, during Superior, during Post Superior, like
he took a break for Extraordinary X-Men and Champions,
right?
Then he came back for Spencer.
He came back for Spencer, like he's been drawing Spider-Man on and off for 20 years. He's a definitive Spider-Man artist, whether you like it or not. And we can go into the,
whether being a good artist or whether being good is the qualifier for being institutional.
Right.
Because JR I would argue has not been at his best since 2007, but he is still an institutional artist regardless.
I mean, obviously, we've talked about how his artwork is the best. The current stuff is the best work he's done since the JMS run, since he wrapped up that run with JMS. His stuff and during Brand New Day and One More Day, again, partly Deadline Crunch too. Because I remember, like, he was drawing the final pages of 600, like
at a con, right?
Week before, like at cons, but also no, that was more that was Ramos. What?
Oh yeah, Ramos was doing Spider Island.
Yeah, he was doing Spider Island at San Diego in 2011. But I know he was doing pages for 600 until like the very last minute before it had to go to print. Like they kept adding pages because they wanted 600 to be. That was one of the first 100-page issues that was completely 100 pages.
Ugh.
And not all new story and then like reprints. They had done that before, but this was the first time that they had done 100 pages in a book for a anniversary issue.
Yeah.
So,
but the wider argument is just that Ramos, regardless of his quality, is an institutional artist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's not bad. I mean, he's not everyone likes him or loves him or whatever, but I think he's good. And I don't know, he's got a good attitude. He's humble. I don't know, I like him.
Really nice guy. I mean, when I met him in 2011, he was nice. Very, very, very gracious. That's why whenever he made his statement about like he wasn't going to go to red states after Donald Trump won, was kind of like, really? Like that was very not like him, because that, you know, every other interaction I ever saw of him was just like this very gracious, humble guy, and he never was ever getting political. So that's why it was something that threw everybody off. Clearly, what happened with Spencer.
Radiac asks, oh, sorry, you were saying it.
This is like a three. Yeah. This is I would put his other two up because this is like a 3-part question.
Okay. I do want to ask an honest question for you guys on how you would consider supporting Ultimate on the premise of getting what the fans want exaggerated, but still essentially able to support a series that is trying to deliver. I'm ready to jump ship, but clearly what happened. Spencer told me that there's no clear reign over direction on ASM. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. Is the question how I would correlate getting what the fans want to buying Ultimate? I feel like that's the question he's asking.
Again,
okay. So
I will say to everybody, like, if you're picking up Wells's book right now and you don't like it, but you're still buying it, don't. Just for, like, you know, the principle of it. Like, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy it. You can always buy it after the fact if you're wanting to be a completist. I mean, that's what people do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, putting it on your pull list and keeping it on your pull list for that is just, to me, is, you know, I'm reading it, obviously. I don't hate it, but I understand people's frustrations. And some people, you know, were calling me obtuse on the internet, which was funny to me. I'm like, this is what I've done for years. I've done hot takes for 15 years. So at the end of the day, don't buy the book if you're not enjoying it. Number one. Number two, the internet on Spider-Man Twitter does not represent the entirety of the fan base. You have a good chunk of fans that are not going to be vocal, that they just pick up the books and they go, you know, they might be vocal to their comic shop or whatever, but they're not picking up the books. They're not going to gripe about it on Twitter. Okay. Twitter is not the real world. I know people want to think it is.
Also, I want to point out that my comic shop, the lady who helps me with my comics and keeps them behind the counter for me in my poll list, she made a point that, like, comics Twitter only gets upset after the issues conveniently leak on Read Comics Online.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great point, because truth be told, a lot of the people that are griping about these books are probably not reading it, or they're looking at the leaked images, or because I mean, this book has been leaked like a sieve. Like, leakier than the Titanic at some points. Like,
okay, so Radiac condensed everything. Sorry for the jumbled mess, but what I wanted to say is that with what we are apparently getting in Ultimate, I think so it wasn't a question; it was more of a statement that the principle would be to support Ultimate
Spider-Man, support Spectacular Spider-Men, and that's what you do. And
real quick,
either way, Marvel wins. And I know people don't like it when I say that, but it is factually accurate. Like, if this is a resounding success, the way the original Ultimate Spider-Man was a resounding success, Marvel wins.
I want to point this out. I'm sorry.
And hopefully they see it as a sign. At the same time, they're hedging their bets here, guys. They're giving you what you want, so you better support it. Otherwise, you're not going to get more of what you want.
I do want to point this out because I think that in regards to the status quo of Peter and MJ being married, we can't get particularly picky about the surrounding context. If you guys remember Renew Your Vows, it had a very strong opening. It was part of that all new Marvel Now era in like 2017 where they were like relaunching everything like constantly,
which is half of Phase 4 and 5 of the MCU.
Yeah, but like the opening issue had like a 96,000 sales, which is great for Elseworlds book, but
96,000 orders though. That's what I need to also specify too. Orders are different than sales.
They're sales to the comic shops, basically. They're not sales to the customers.
The comic shops are pre-ordering that, anticipating the demand.
But those are the numbers that I have. Yeah. So
those are the sales numbers. Those are the sales numbers to the comic shops. Now, if all those got sold to a person, who knows? But they got sold to comic shops.
But the issue that we had
there was demand.
The issue that we had is that everyone kind of griped about the kind of specifics of like MJ and Annie are fighting with him as crime fighters, and then the book sales tanked. Like it had that classic 50% drop from the first issue that I think US Avengers had, where it had a great first issue and then it tanked. Though US Avengers also had 50 variant covers for each of the states, so that kind of is a weird comparison. But
yes,
it had for the first couple of issues, it outsold ASM when I was doing the Clone Conspiracy, but then afterwards it just fell off. And
especially after the time skip. I know I was looking at the numbers like recently, and after they did the time skip when Hauser took over, I think the sale. I think there was a bit of a bump.
Fault.
Yeah, well, it wasn't her fault, but I think it was
Hauser got given the setup by Stegman when he was writing. But my point is here is that like, I know people are like complaining that like, oh, why aren't we getting the development of Peter and MJ's relationship? I think this is one of the few times we're going to say, guys, ignore the smaller details. We've been begging for a married Peter for the last 5 years since Renew Your Vows ended. We got to commit here. If we don't, Marvel has already hedged their bets, and they've kind of already said like, okay, this is Ultimate, not 616. We can't. If you're a marriage stan, they've kind of you got to commit to this. This is kind of an now or never situation. I don't like, for lack of a better term, giving an ultimatum. Ultimate reference. But we kind of need to draw the line here and let Marvel know with our money, not just complaining about it on Twitter, that we want this to succeed. I'm pretty sure Marvel already has given Hickman like 12 issues because that seems like a very Hickman structure to give. Like,
that's the bottom line on this.
But those 12 issues, I know a lot of us just want to collect that number one so we can put it on eBay for $50. But we
if you can get 10 times more than what you paid for it, that's
yeah, I'm not sliding that.
That's the law of supply and demand. However,
but we got to draw the line on giving Marvel what we want, so we can get of what they want, so they can give us more of what we want, regardless of the particulars. Like, oh no, Ultimate Goblin doesn't have a mouth. I'm still buying the book.
Rest in peace.
Oh no! Oh no! Peter has a ginger for a son. I'm still buying the book.
Again, this is where you put your money where your mouth is. This is where you stop complaining, you start mobilizing. You do the Spider-Girl method, guys. Buy the damn book, and then buy an extra copy, and then give it out.
Okay, Tavia, in this market, nothing's getting to 100 issues.
No. Nothing gets to 100 issues.
Batman barely got there.
Peter, ASM almost did.
That's
they
true.
rebooted like right before. It was at like what 93.
Now you're correct that I wouldn't be telling people to buckle up and deal with it, but this is one of those few times where I'm gonna be saying that Marvel has kind of forced our hand, and now that they're giving us what we want, we kind of have to commit. Otherwise, Marvel will just go, well, we tried, guys. No one bought the book, so
this is the second time we've tried, even though it's not 616 Peter. It's not, that's why a lot of people were upset with the Spencer run. I know we bring it up, it seems like every episode, but it felt like they were addressing the elephant in the room, and then we got the rug pulled out, which apparently, Spencer's kind of alluded that it probably did happen, that there was editorial influence. So, yeah, I don't think Marvel cares. This is kind of them going like, okay, you guys can have this in your Elseworlds, but we're not going to do it in 616.
It's like, that's fine with me.
I'm happy with that, because we don't have to deal with all the convoluted BS of how they broke up in the first place. Now we've got potential domestic issues without the baggage of, hey, look, Peter sold his marriage to Satan. How are we going to get past that?
It's another thing too, where,
and also we're spending a lot of time on this because we don't really have a whole lot to say about the
frankly, the two issues. I mean, and we're kind of buying time for when Paul will be here. So
if he's not here in like 3 minutes, we probably should just do it without him.
Well, yeah, he's supposed to be here. He's supposed to be on in 20 minutes. So, for those that staying aboard, we're getting rain too. They are putting.
I do want to say, like, if they're putting, because I wanted to say this last episode, but I forgot because we were talking about Gleason so much and how we love him, and I want them to, because everyone's like, oh, Gleason should write ASM, Gleason should draw ASM. It's like, I don't think I want that. I think I want him to write and draw his own thing. Give him the Spider-Man with the the 90s Todd Klein.
Oh, the one that Abrams hijacked for his.
Yeah, give him that.
The spiky fingers font.
Yeah, the 90s one. Yeah, the one that was sort of Sabretooth before, but then they kind of they redid it. They redid it for. Todd Klein talks about it on his blog. Like he kind of did it for Sabretooth, and then like someone saw it somewhere, and I'm
not sure about Gleason's workload. I don't think he's got it in him to do ASM.
I know, yeah,
bi-weekly.
What I'm saying is, like, because if we're gonna, like, if people are like, oh yeah, like we want Gleason on ASM, we want him to draw, we want him to write it, whatever. I'm just thinking, like, give him free reign on just Spider-Man that comes out, like, I don't know, every other month, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, see what happens.
Or make Amazing Spider-Man 1 time a month again.
Sure. But a lot of artists still struggle with that.
Tevye asks, why do we need a Spider-Man Ring 2? I don't think it's for any reason other than Carrie Andrews wanted to do it.
Because they brought Carrie Andrews in and they said, hey, would you reconsider doing a sequel to Reign? Yes. That's probably exactly what happened. That was probably Nick Lowe going, hey, can you come in and do this and be part of the rotation on Amazing?
Because Radiac makes a point that they are kind of throwing everything to the wind and kind of figuring out what sticks out of all the stuff they're throwing at us.
Because I think I genuinely think that we've got another year of Wells, and then
the new idea, the rumor, or I don't know, the word on the street these days is he said 60 or something.
Yes,
He's got issue 60.
We've got about maybe another year, and then we'll get whoever's next.
And then whoever is next, their goal is the goal is the march to 1,000. And I genuinely think that we will get back to ASM being once a month after ASM 1000. Once they get to that number, I think ASM goes back to once a month, and they have a satellite title that's linked to it, but they'll call it something else.
Yeah,
they'll say it's integral to pick up.
I think once we get to ASM, what is it, 950? Because that's just before Wells's run ends. Because I think it's like what 906 or 56 or something. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I think that's about right. It's about. So we have 4 more issues left, and then whoever gets the book after Wells is probably just going to be some rando they pick to. It's not going to be like an abstract book that actually says anything about the character. It's going to be okay. How many random Spider-Man adventures can we do until ASM 1000, and then whoever does the book after that will probably do something a bit more meaty with the character. I don't know. It doesn't.
We'll see.
I feel like I wrote a manifesto of like what I would do if I were in charge of Marvel, and this was before Wiseman and Ramos's Spec Spider-Man was announced, and now that I have that knowledge, I feel like I would trade Gleason on ASM to put him on Spectacular Spider-Man, because then I can have 2 creators I really want on the same title. Nothing against Ramos, but I think Gleason would do better in a monthly environment instead of coming every 20 issues to do a 4-issue arc and then burn out. I don't know the behind the scenes stuff about Gleason's workload, so I'm making an assumption or an educated guess. But I
mean, with the way ASM is in general, from what I've been told, is they just have everybody do blocks. So I don't know if Wells writes Marvel style. That's the kind of the thing, because we know how Slott writes. Slott writes Marvel style.
We know how Spencer writes too. He's gone on record saying like he does everything except the action scenes, and then writes around whatever Otley sent in for action scenes.
Yes.
Well, the script for the first issue of Wells's run is in that book that they released.
Oh, it was like a Marvel, not a monograph, right? It was the one. I know which one you're talking about, Adam. It's the one where it says like it's a description of Paul, and it's like everyone's gonna like him.
Everyone grabbed onto that.
Well, Cicchetto's been a fan favorite on and off for years. I mean, he's been kind of hanging around the Spidey office for a long time. He was a part of the Brand New Day, Brain Trust era artists.
Was he on Grim Hunt, or was that someone else?
He did do parts. It was oh god. Yeah. He ended up having to fill in
the Last Stand. I think that Last Stand.
Oh yeah.
The art they put on the Last Stand figure, I think, was him.
Yeah,
that is. Yeah.
So he did. I'm trying to remember what issue it was though
that was during Spider-Verse.
Superior Team
maybe
Up.
A What If? It was Superior Team Up. He also did the Return of Kane arc, the Who Has Been Riley arc. He did those.
He did Superior Team Up too. He did Superior Team Up twice.
He did the
Kane arc and then the Punisher Daredevil arc.
Yes, because he was doing Punisher at the time. He was doing Punisher as the ongoing around 2011.
Oh yeah, he also did Avenging. So
he was on Avenging.
He's been around the block for Spider-Man. I get the sense that he's smart enough to stay away from a title that requires him to do more than 1 book a month.
Of course.
Yes.
I think ASM should. Unfortunately, ASM will never go back to monthly unless they hit 1,000. So I think any artist who values sanity and their physical health regarding their hands.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, guys like Bagley and
Romita Jr.
and Rita Jr. They could probably crank out 18 issues a year if they had to, because I know at one time Romita was doing
give him good inker,
a month.
please. Looking at you, John Doe.
Yeah, well, that's yeah.
Adam looks off to the side.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate. I don't hate Bagley's artwork in today's Superior. It's not my favorite, but it's not terrible. Like I know
it's not like Ultimate where like half of his panels are just close-ups of characters' faces.
Yes, but that's also Bendis writing too.
That's true.
You got to remember, you got Bendoso vision, and that's what
Bendis.
That's what
you mean
Bagley
Bendis,
was forced to draw.
Tevye, it's gonna get to 1,000. I don't.
Oh no, they're too damn close. I mean, we're at.
That's like asking if Action Comics is gonna get to 1,000.
And it did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that like you're kind of preaching to the choir on this one?
Marvel, come hell or high water, in 2 years, we will get Amazing Spider-Man 1000. It's happening. Whether
we want it or not.
And on that
there's going to be
note,
equality between now and then, that's a different story. All right, so
and on that note, yeah.
All right, Paul's not here yet, so
let's do the recap.
Yep.
Of these 2 issues.
Okay, Zach, it's going to be you this time because I forgot.
I
forgore.
I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have to pull these up on my phone. So hang on. Let me switch cameras. So back to this one. All right.
But yeah, guys, right. I really do think we need to back Ultimate as much as we can. I know I'm kind of saying it's do or die at this point, but I really do think this is kind of the last charge of the Marriage Brigade.
All right. So Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay,
Number
to be fair, Venkman, he never told me that I had to do the recaps. I just told him I was coming onto the show.
Listen, I didn't know he was coming until like literally an hour before the show. So like Neil wasn't supposed to be here.
My previous engagement got canceled, so I offered to be one of the terrific trio.
There you go. So Queens 2 nights ago opens up with a very large man in a trench coat and a overcoat hat, looking like a Ninja Turtle in a Spider-Man outfit, aka it's Rek-Rap. Woohoo!
It's a Battletoad. Get it right.
It is. Yeah, it's like Battletoad, Ninja Turtle. It's
Demon
like Donatello meets Spider-Man, and
that's Raphael.
Raphael.
Wasn't Raphael the guy who wore the trench coat and the hat most often?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah. So it's Rek-Rap.
The recap of Rek-Rap.
It is the recap of Rek-Rap. Yes. Good job, McNulty. So we have the Grave Goblin is hiding, and there's a fight. We then cut to our title page, done by Ed McGuinness and Marcio Minez is the cover artists. McGuinness is the penciler for this issue. Mark Farmer is the inker. Minez is the colorist. Zeb Wells is our writer. And we get over to the Limbo Embassy in New York City, where we have a conversation between the Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor, and the recently elected mayor of New York, Luke Cage.
That was like 2 years ago. He's been mayor for 2 years. He's gotten nothing done.
Yeah, I mean, in the
politics,
in the Marvel universe, can you? Well, I mean, in the real world, the mayor does not. It's more of a ceremonial position. The city council is the one that makes all the decisions. As far as I remember. So obviously Peter's there, and we reference the fact that during the ASM annual, Peter's was forbidden to be there. Madeline's like, look, because so Luke Cage brings Peter in because he's friends with Rek-Rap. They're trying to bring Rek-Rap back to Limbo. And so there's a brief conversation between Neil, Luke. between Luke and Peter going back and forth about being a hero. And then elsewhere, we cut to Silvermane and Hammerhead and the Magia being reborn. Somebody's making a new Hammerhead body. Hammerhead's head is no longer attached to a
Ooh, RC car for life.
I mean, Silvermane. Silvermane.
Yeah, the Silvermane's former body was that of an RC car, for those of you who remember the Spencer run. Then we get to Limbo, where we have Madeline digging up a plant. I don't know what it is, but basically she's wanting this plant to go hunt for Rek-Rap. So Peter goes back to the scene of the crime in Queens. And this poor guy is like, I just got this house. We then cut to the East Village, where we have Rek-Rap licking the side of a building because you demanded it. We then have a conversation between Rek-Rap and Peter. Peter's like, you need to go back to your freaking, home dimension. All of a sudden, we have Dr. Octoballs show up. Brief fight occurs. Then it turns into this collector that looks suspiciously like a chameleon-like character. I don't know who this guy is, but basically it eats.
It's the deck collector. Like the newsboy hat is giving it away so hard.
So it's this mysterious character that was. I totally forgot. I was going to bring that up, but yeah, later. So
his name is Gus.
Gus eats Octobot, and Rek-Rap's like, I'm not going in there. Peter's like, I don't think this is a good idea. And then at the end of the issue, the debt collector realizes Parker.
So I think the demon name is Repo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm going to call him Sug.
So we then cut to the next issue. So that's the end of our first issue that we're covering here. So same creative team as last time. We open up with Repo going to Randy's apartment and saying, Parker, you owe me one. Knock, knock, knock on the door. It's Randy Robinson saying, well, why aren't you answering my calls? I need help from the one that can crawl on walls. Collateral. And then it decides that it's going to try to eat Randy. So then we get Rek-Rap presents a replication production of Rek-Rap Storytime Adventure, starring me, in a tale he calls The Mystery of the Time he got in a fight with the Kraken the Hunter a few weeks ago, and something weird happened.
I love the coloring on this bit.
Yes, it's got like this different type of coloring here. So we have Kraken the Hunter fighting with Rek-Rap. They have a bit of a back and forth. All of a sudden, the Repo Man eats no relation to the Repo Man in wrestling. That's a joke. That was an actual character called Repo Man. So Peter's like, who is he? I don't know. That's the mystery. And then like he's about to go into like story time number 2. Peter is dressed as a civilian. And he's like, just get to the story, right? Get to the point of the story. And he's like, apparently he chased him back to this apartment, and that's where we interact. Repo Man ended up eating Scorpion and the Rhino, so he's been slowly but surely collecting all of the Sinister Six of Limbo. Norman shows up and is like, Peter, what are you doing here?
Back to formula.
You may notice the heavy toll your silly adventures of yours have cost my company, but the insurance is a luxury and I can't afford. So basically, get the F out if you're not going to be here doing actual work. We get back to Limbo, where Goblin Queen's like, has he been dallying? So basically, reminds Repo Man that the target is 2 different people. Don't confuse the 2. Back at Long Island City, we have an interlude where we have some of the mob bosses of the Magia
New artist, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh wait, do we have a new artist?
Yeah, it's a different artist. It's Emilio.
Oh,
Liso.
Emilio Lasso. Yeah, it says interlude artist. Okay, my bad.
You're welcome.
So we then have gathering of the Magia. The Magia are sitting here talking, be like, hey, stay in your lane. And then we have Count Nefaria show up and is like, yeah, my daughter got offed, but it's for the greater good. So the Magia will rise once again. End of interlude. So basically, here's your setup for gang war. Peter then puts on his costume, and Peter's
he tells Rek-Rap to get lost. He tells Rek-Rap to get lost.
Yes. Like, Rek-Rap wants to team up. He wants to team up with his buddy. And Rek-Rap gets told to get lost. He starts crying. And then it'll be all over soon. Oh. Peter gets back to his apartment.
Poopers.
Realizes that it's been just utterly destroyed, except for Randy's phone. Then we have Randy's phone. Peter starts freaking out. We then get to Limbo. Turns out he goes back to the attic where all this started. And then Peter's like, where is Randy Robinson? And then, basically the Repo Man says, Randy Robinson's your collateral. You owe me a great debt. And that's the end of the issue. Gulp. Basically, Peter gets eaten. He's getting sucked into Limbo. Shenanigans happens. So, Repo Man. Okay, yeah. It's Man Repo, I guess.
It's Sug the Repo Man.
Slug the Repo Man.
Big Sug.
So, all right. So we got 3 minutes until Paul gets here. For those of you watching this on the Comic Binge YouTube channel, hello. Adam, give us your thoughts first.
Well, I guess I wonder if this really needed to be 3 issues because we still have. No, it's not 4. I think 3 is the last part.
Is it?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Let me double check while you are giving your thoughts.
I think I still like Rek-Rap's goofiness, but I do think there's maybe too much in this. I found that I was more interested in the gang war stuff going on, like Luke Cage talking about, Randy's activism and what everyone's going to do about the gang war stuff. But on the contrary, on the other hand, we get that interlude in the last issue, and I felt like that was just kind of jarring because it's smack in the middle of everything going on.
Oh, they just have written on there, begin interlude.
Yeah.
End of interlude.
Well, the thing, to be fair, that was like that you would have that in like the Conway issues in the 70s.
Yeah, that's a bit of pretty common trope. I know they had that in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually say meet Repo on the cover for the next issue, for next week's issue. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean I don't know. To me, this kind of, I guess it maybe feels like filler a bit. Like, Gang War is the more interesting story, but it's like, okay, we'll give you Rek-Rap again, and I guess we'll give you Gus again since that just ended and everyone forgot about him. Which,
dude, I totally forgot about Gus, the debt collector. Like,
what I will say is
we were talking about in the group chat, and you were like, who?
Yes. So we have a group chat that we have for the show, and Josh couldn't make it tonight, otherwise he would have been here. We have Josh, we have Javi, we have Neil, Adam, and Paul. So the 6 of us are in this group chat. I didn't realize that this is the disembodied corpse or the reanimated corpse of the debt collector, because I forgot the debt collector got sent to freaking limbo anyway. Because again, that's a plot point that is over a year old now. that you are expecting your readers to know and or understand.
On the other hand, I will give Wells some props because I remember, like a few months ago, people were like, "What else does he have left to do after the Paul Webb
Yeah.
Rabin stuff?"
Honey.
Yeah, it's like-
Honey, you
it's like-
asked the wrong question.
Yeah, it's like, what else does he have to do besides whatever, and maybe bringing the Green Goblin back and other stuff? But it's like,
they forgot Rek-Rap, and now they're paying the price for their transgression.
like, well, he's got Rek-Rap, which no one likes apparently, and no one liked Gus, and now he's back.
The weird thing is, I remember it was either Josh or Don. They said that like apparently people were actually like genuinely excited for Rek-Rap at New York Comic Con.
It was Don. Yeah, it was Don. It was on the show. He was talking about it on the show.
That was last episode, I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the last episode we were on. It has been a while since we've done an episode.
It's been a month.
It's been a month. So,
but anyway, my point is I mean, I like Rek-Rap in small doses. I feel like this might be a little too much. I think that this story probably could have been wrapped up in 2 issues, but we're getting another part.
I feel like that
we'll
half
see.
of next issue is going to be wrapping this up, and the other half of next issue is going to be the prelude, the prelude to the prelude of Gang War.
Well, to say we already have a First Strike issue, and we already have.
So okay. So here's the schedule. So next week, November 22nd, we have issue 38 coming out. 39, which is the First Strike.
There's a First Strike issue and 39.
Yeah, First Strike is a one shot, I think.
It's basically the fancy way of calling it an alpha issue.
So does the First Strike come out on the 28th or the 28th?
Comes out I think before that. Hang on, let me check the Gang
29th. Next week is 38th, and the week after that is First Strike. And then the week after that is 39.
Okay, because I know the 39 comes out December. So our next episode, I guess we're gonna be covering 3 issues because.
Yeah, probably.
We'll do the First Strike. So we'll have Paul on momentarily.
He says device is not connected.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mike says, to be fair, if Repo reveals himself as Gus the Debt Collector, Spidey will probably go, "Yeah, I got no clue who you are, dude."
I didn't forget the Debt Collector until this arc. I thought the big plot hole was that Gus and Peter's debt was all but forgotten after the Dark Web.
To be fair, I just kind of assumed Norman paid it all off.
He could do that.
Why didn't they just do that? That would have been easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Comic Bench YouTube channel.
Yes, I am here.
Sounding like he's in a hole, but he is here.
Hold on.
So we will get Paul's thoughts on these issues momentarily.
Yes.
So we've already done the recap. You timed this perfectly. We timed it perfectly. We did all the news. We did the recap. We haven't heard from Neil yet. What is your overall thoughts?
So wait, you guys did the 20-minute recap?
Yes.
It was 8 minutes. I timed it.
You timed it, you traitor.
Dude, 8 minutes of recaps. Yikes.
That was both issues.
That's like 6 minutes too long.
Anyway, oh, you know what? Just because you don't like recaps, sir, we made sure to do all of that stuff for you.
Sure,
that way you could come in and just give your thoughts.
Yes.
We literally tailor-made this episode just for you. Don't complain about how we do it before that.
All right.
And I'll get your thoughts on the news articles after your stuff. But Neil, what are your thoughts? And then we'll go to Paul.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a B. B minus.
B minus. Okay.
I think I would give it a C, maybe.
Oof.
Okay.
All right.
I kind of way higher art, and I like McGinnis's art. I apparently has a very controversial opinion on some circles of Spider-Man discourse, but he's too cartoony for some
Face.
people. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I had a cough.
But I like McGinnis. He's fine.
McGinnis is a great artist.
I
wish
get-
he
I
would
get-
draw
I get-
less
I-
goofy shit.
Yeah, this arc feels like Wells went, okay, I've got 3 issues until until editorial's big crossover event happens. Hey Ed, what do you want to do? I want to do Rek-Rap. Okay.
Yeah, this feels like the Rek-Rack vanity arc. That's basically
this is the Rek-Rap victory lap.
Yeah, don't worry, Zach. He's not gonna stay around for so long, so you don't have to, complain about him and Spider-Boy replacing Ben Reilly and all that.
You're stepping over my comments, sir, later on. Anyway,
but I'm one of those people who I'm with Adam that Rek-Rap is fine in small doses. I don't think we need a whole arc dedicated to him. I don't even think we needed the full issue that he got in Dark Web dedicated to him.
Yeah,
but he's funny. He's fun to use to make people upset on the internet. So he's worth that at least.
He's worth it for the memes. Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, it's fun to enjoy him ironically. The bit with Kraken the Hunter, I will admit, actually got a laugh out of me. Like where he goes, this net was made to contain the strength of 10 tunas, but I have the strength of a man-sized spider, and guess what? That's 13 tunas. Like there's there's a sort of weird absurdist comedy to Rek-Rap's like recaps, the rec caps, if you will.
Yes, as we've established, thanks to McNulty in the comment section.
Yeah. So I just think that like if it was just those 4 pages, hey, that was a great Marvel Unlimited Infinity comic.
Again, like I don't hate that Rek-Rap exists. Just don't give me the argument that we have too many spiders as a justification for turning a beloved character heel that you've done now 3 times in your administration, Mr. Lowe, and then turn around and give me Rek-Rap and Spider-Boy and say, here. Come on, man. Like that's bullshit.
I do think that where Wells and McGinnis overindulge is like Rek-Rap is too goofy all the time. Like there's no like moment of sincerity. It's just always comedy all the time. Look, guys, a people box. Bing, 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 ba ding. And buckle your tummy strap. It's like it's too much. It's like, hey, let's get in the car and go for a drive. Oops, I jumped out of the car, but I left a brick on the gas. So you're going 65 even without me.
It's like a bad Acme Wile E. Coyote Looney Tunes. Spider-Man.
Why didn't this one get written off as a tax write-off?
Hang on. There you go, buddy. I don't know if you heard that.
There was no sound effect.
Oh.
I don't know. McGinnis draw good. Wells write competently.
He do draw good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not excited for Gang War. Like it's probably the part where he's gonna be writing most competently. But I'm not like excited for it. I don't know. Who was excited to get a follow-up on Limbo? Hey, look, Baja Blast is back in the pages of Dark X-Men.
Yes, but he's put back in his box. He was used. They took the Marvel Legends, version of Baja Blast, played with him to set up the story, and then put him back in his little box, so that way he can be addressed in ASM later on. All right. Speaking of Shazam fans, we have Mr. Paul Thug. P Thug.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
Tell us your thoughts on these 2 issues.
First of all, I'm going to push back on Nick, your hatred
Nick.
towards Nick Lowe for.
I thought you were talking to me.
For Nick Lowe, because I will say that the Spider-Boy and Rek-Rap are much different than a carbon copy version of Spider-Man verbatim. So just for the record, because one is a small child, even younger and more like noticeably younger than Miles. And then Rek-Rap is just a cartoon character, whatever. So they are at least two vastly different versions of like Spider people. And I think when I read Nick Lowe's article about the him wanting to do something different to have Spider-Man to have that counterbalance, that's what I interpreted it as. I don't especially if I don't know if you guys have read Spider-Boy, but that first issue was fantastic. It's fantastic. I thought it was great. And I really enjoyed it.
I don't think it's I don't think it's fantastic, but I thought it was well done, and I thought I give it a B plus.
It's
B plus is fantastic in my book.
Not to derail into a Spider-Boy conversation, but it is Slott writing in his comfort zone and not being forced out of it. So
I don't know.
It allows Slott to do what Slott does best, which is write quasi Silver Age-esque stories, and
do shitty puns.
So I just want your opinion. So anyway, the thing is with this is that
hey, quit.
That's fine.
No, I'm talking to him, not you.
That's fine. So the thing is I think with those two characters, again, I don't look at them as like carbon copies, or at least vastly different, like and totally in their own like entity, instead of just like, here's Spider-Man from this universe, or here's a literal carbon copy Diet Coke version of Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, which again, I like Ben Reilly. And I drink Diet Coke all the time, so this is not a knock on Diet Coke or Ben Reilly. It's just I understand where they're coming from at this point, and with Miles already there, he's already that borderline boy to man, that like the whole younger Spider-Man. So I don't think it's a fair argument to make, in my opinion. So for as far as it's 36 and 37, right? We're reviewing.
Yes.
Okay. I think I've said this. I think in our text chat or maybe on Twitter, I think McGinnis and Wells have a great chemistry. Every time they're paired together, I enjoy it immensely. It's got a great energy, a great pacing, and whenever JR gets on with Wells, it's not bad. It's just not as it doesn't flow as well as when McGinnis and Wells get together, and I'm not sure why. And I'm a big JR fan, and JR can like totally vibe with different writers, and McGinnis, I'm not even like, I know his work and I have a number of his stuff, his work myself. I'm not overly familiar with him necessarily. And that being said, like, now that I think about it, yeah, he did Hulk with Jeff Lowe back in the day, which I thought was fine. It was okay. This seems way more energetic, way more interesting, and just, I don't know. There's just something about these two together, like, because of that 900 issue they did together. I thought was great too. And again, just great, like just, dude.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me for once.
Excuse me. I thought I muted. My bad.
Wow.
I literally hit the mute button.
Wow.
My bad, guys.
But anyway, yeah, I think that these issues are really like, they're not like, again, if I get something A+, I have to really love it. I don't love these issues, but that's not a detriment to these comics either. I really enjoyed them. I'd probably give them about a B. It's just, probably B, I'd say. A good solid B, which I mean, I like them and I'm enjoying it. I mean, if a title can maintain a B average, then like I'm good. Like I don't have to have A+ all the time, because it's just, I'm not going to love every single thing. And this is compressed, or in Wells' case, sometimes decompressed storytelling. So medium. So
yeah, I agree.
So anyway, I think these are solid issues. The Limbo stuff I could give a crap about, but Rek-Rapp's been actually growing on me way more than I anticipated. And it's been like, I think he definitely Wells writes them really well. And has them, has us like at least not rooting for him, but just like this having the Spider-Man to go off of a giant cartoon character is kind of fun. So
yeah, he's charming.
I do like that Peter is the straight man for once, and that's been one of my major gripes, is that Peter always comes off as like really annoying, and all the other people hate him because he's annoying. So it's refreshing for once to see him be like, holy shit, dude, turn it down just a little, I'm begging you, to someone else.
So I mean, I think there's, like I said, there's just, I kind of think that Wells with the right artist does do quality work here. So I just don't know if him and JR have the right chemistry to keep maintaining a super high quality Spider-Man book together on a regular basis. I think they've done good work together on this series so far at times, but it's just not been consistent. Like every time McGinnis comes on, it's almost a breath of fresh air, and the kinetic energy level goes up. So yeah, I think it's a solid B. You know, I remember reading these at work and being like, yeah, I'm enjoying that. Am I excited for Gang War? Yeah, I mean, not really, but I mean, at the same time,
real quick, Paul, can I offer maybe
Yes.
not a pushback, but a
sure.
contrasting opinion? Javi makes a
Sure.
point that there was a time for the Rek-Rap story, but this wasn't it.
Yeah.
That if they had done this maybe a bit earlier, like instead of the Joe Kelly arc, like maybe that would have been a good time to do Rek-Rap.
Yeah.
Instead of like a year later.
I don't because to everyone else's point, Rek-Rap can get old fast if you just belabor him. And I think the thing is with Rek-Rap, you give everyone a break, and I think you also need to establish Peter and Felicia's relationship during the Joe Kelly run. The first little break, you could say, not even run, it's a little break. And I don't know. I feel like it all worked out for me because I'll be honest, I did not want to see Rek-Rap right away either. This was a good balance of that, and I feel like with him in it now, it's just kind of I don't want to say it's buying time a little bit, but it kind of is for Gang War. Like everyone kind of get their gears together, and it's just a kind of a fun, not have to be super overly think everything. Again, my least favorite part of these books is the fact that he comes from Limbo and that whole Goblin and embassy, whatever the hell it's called. I don't need that. Like Goblin Queen is just obnoxious. I hate it. X-Men books are a mess, and the fact that it's trickled over to Spider-Man just drives me nuts. But that being said, I think Wells is doing well for what these comics are, which I think are pretty solid, damn good books.
All right, so I'm gonna give my thoughts, and then we'll recap the grades, and then we'll go from there and begin, dovetailing on the show. So let's talk. For me, I enjoyed these books for what they were. Now that I'm not using my phone to recap, I can have my camera back on. I enjoyed them for what they were. They weren't the best issues. They were well drawn. You guys know how I feel about Rek-Rap. I don't care. But I was entertained. And so I give this a B- personally, but because it's well drawn. This is it's an issue too long. The decompression, you brought it up, Paul. I completely agree with this. It is decompressed. It is not a good succinct issue. Like, to me, you could have taken the quote unquote first strike one shot out, made these 3 issues into 2 issues, made the first strike issue this issue of Amazing, or the next issue of Amazing, and cut out the fluff. Like there's some fat that can be trimmed here. For whatever reason, we just keep getting a lot of I want more meat to this story. The interludes, I thought it was very good how they used a different artist for the interlude. Thought it was good. It also lightens up McGinnis's workload. It's going to be interesting to see how everything sorts out next issue, which comes out a week from today, as of when we're recording this. I don't know, man. Okay, Hobby makes a joke. Zach doesn't care about Rek-Rap until the Marvel Legend Rek-Rap build a fig wave. It depends on what the rest of the wave is, because I'm getting far. Look, I am running out of space on my shelf for my Spider-Verse. So between the current stuff that's been out that I have not gathered this year, plus the stuff that I want to get next year, and the No Way Home wave, I am rapidly running out of space. So it's going to depend on, for me, getting the whole wave if I like all the figures. The stuff that we talked about at the beginning of the episode, I like all those figures. I think that's a great wave. There's no weak link of that wave, and so if they did a Build-A-Figure wave of similar characters, I would, Unmasked Redeemed Ben Reilly is the lead figure of the wave. We'll see. But yeah, no, I like I say, it is I know what he's trying to do from a tonal and structural standpoint. You want to do this fun issue before we get into this really meaty depth, into the depths here with the gang war. So I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand why people would like it. Or think it, you know what I mean? Like it does its job. It does address the remaining things, which is basically there's three things that from year one of Wells that have not been addressed: the Repo Man, the Rek-Rap being out there, and then Ben Reilly's redemption. We know that the Ben Reilly redemption thing is going to come later. So, because Wells has said that multiple times, not just once. So, it is trying to clear some decks because gang war is like the big thing that's going to be a turning point in this run. So, clearing the deck here, I'm okay with. So let me go around the horn for grades here and give the grades. So, Paul, what was your grade?
I gave it a B, a good solid B.
Just a regular old B.
Oh, Mike's correct that instead of Peter and Felicia's awkward spa adventure, Felicia dumps Peter for Rek-Rap. That would have been great.
B plus for you, Neil. Correct.
B minus.
B minus. Sorry, I said B. You said B minus. All right, B minus. You gave it the lowest grade, C minus, right, Adam?
I gave it a C.
Just a C. Okay. So we got a C. So we got a C out of Adam, B minus out of Neil, B out of Paul, and excuse you, B. I said B. I said B minus out of me. So that is the grades for the episode. Okay, Paul, we talked about some news stories before you got here. I want to get your thoughts on what do you think of the Ultimate Spider-Man announcement? Are you picking it up?
I'll probably pick it up for a minute and see how I like it. I'm picking up a lot of books right now, which I blame DC because DC's quality has just gone way up and been fantastic. So many great titles at DC right now; it's ridiculous. But I will be picking it up. I wasn't really going to at first. Hickman is just so hit and miss with me, and because the guy just can't stick a landing to save his life, it seems like. But he
just gets
a great
bored.
planner, or he just can't stick a landing. So like
that's a problem with most writers, though. At Marvel, it seems like
I don't agree with that at all. In fact, I would say Hickman. The thing with Hickman is that he has these great ideas, these grand, great world building ideas, and then they just kind of linger and linger and linger and linger, and then he finally tries to end it, and it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, like Fantastic Four was like that. Secret Wars was like that. I would say Avengers is probably one of the only ones I've read of his that like I thought was actually specifically New Avengers, because his Avengers title, his regular Avengers title was crap, I thought. But New Avengers was fantastic from beginning to end, but partly because he was going right into Secret Wars, and Secret Wars was a giant turd at the end. It was just like, what is this?
I'll be fair to his Fantastic Four in that a lot of the plot points did lead into New Avengers. So you kind of have to treat some. You kind of have to treat Secret Warriors to Secret Wars as sort of a mega arc across multiple titles.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
I mean, but the Fantastic Four doesn't lead. It just kind of leads into like the Council of Dooms and or Reeves, excuse me, and again, like I think Fantastic Four has moments. It took me a while to kind of get into that and get to the groove of what Hickman was doing. At the same time, it just kind of ends with a thud, anticlimactic thud for me, because it goes. I remember going into like Fraction and Bagley being like, "What the hell is like?" It's just like it was weird. And for me, I think Hickman he's great ideas, great world builder, great organizer of of ideas and themes and whatnot. But then, and what I love, but if you can't stick a landing, it's really hard for me to want to get invested and get excited. But at the same time, some of the stuff that we're seeing from this, the premise of it with the whole family aspect, they're really dialing it up. I mean, make no mistake of a married with kids Peter story with maybe the biggest writer Marvel has, arguably, is a big deal. It's a big deal, and if it sells well, and we keep getting into the Spider-Verse, giant movie tie-ins and whatnot in the future. I just don't. I have been saying it for years. It's not long before they're actually together in the real stuff, and especially with Spider-Man 4 coming out eventually for Sony, right? I mean, that's eventually. That's probably what I still think is going to happen. Is they're going to.
Well, I mean, that's
Hey, Paul, let's take a bet. Which of Peter's kids do you think will die in Ultimate for shock value?
None. I don't think he'll do it.
Oh, I think the boy will.
I don't think
Neil doesn't like the boy.
So, Ginger.
So I would say I wasn't really interested, but seems like the Greek Goblin costume I thought was interesting. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I'm kind of into this. I'm intrigued, and again, Stegman's a great artist, so
it's Chichetto. It's
Chichetto. Stegman's doing some covers and some.
Oh, that's right. Okay, my fault. Chichetto. Yeah, I like Chichetto because I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Chichetto. Excuse me. I like Chichetto too. His Daredevil stuff is great. I love some of the Star Wars stuff he did. So I am definitely into that. I know Stegman did the initial cover. That's why I got my mind mixed up.
He did.
He's doing a promo variant or something.
Yeah, he did. He did the family variant.
I'm gonna pick it up. I mean, will I stick with it? It remains to be seen. But I'm definitely gonna be checking it out for a minute.
So next up, we have the Spectacular Spider-Men. Are you going to pick up that book?
About effing time. It's funny, Javi, had a Spider-Man Council episode idea about, what can they do to improve their relationship, and it's like, obviously this was well in advance before we ever did anything, but it's so funny because it was just such a glaring thing.
That's just how Greg Weisman works, because every time we have something related to Greg Weisman or an idea, something pops up that it just gets spoken into existence. We were talking about doing voices for a long time, and then we finally get to the point where we're done with Spec Radio, and then they start doing the NECA stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then when we were doing Spec Radio's development, then we get the Blu-ray, and now we're talking. I remember that conversation. We had that conversation after last time I was on the council. So
yeah. So the thing is, with this announcement, it's finally a no duh about effing time kind of thing. I'm Herberto Ramos and Weisman's a solid writer. I'm it's going to be fun. I hope it's successful. I want it to be good. I mean, I'm going to be picking that up for her for sure. And like I said, it's just about time that they finally kind of took it seriously. Those two their relationship, and it took a movie and a video game to freaking do it finally. And not just that's what's sad about it is Marvel's just we need to separate these two people. It's why? Actually, you're killing a great idea for the whole, and again the mentor idea, which again into the Spider-Verse totally blew open.
Your age is Peter. That's
I do think that Weisman plays it smart and says that they're not mentor and mentee, they're partners,
and they're friends.
But it's inevitable to have them some miles.
Well,
to learn.
I think they're avoiding saying that because you're getting that mentor mentee element with Spider-Boy,
and also the mentoring part is kind of implied. Miles has 8 years of real time experience in the Marvel universe now. He doesn't need Peter to mentor him; he needs a friend.
Well, yeah,
to imply that Peter is mentoring him now kind of downplays Miles's stepping
journey.
Up and
his journey.
He's a kid. He's a kid though, man. He's still again. I'm not sure how long he's been Spider-Man in the 616. That is 8 years seems too long. I could be wrong, but that seems way too long.
He joined in 2015 and it's 2023 now.
No. I'm talking about
he's been no. What he's saying in real time, not in continuity. 8 years
Right.
not in continuity, but like 8 years real time in the 616. But also, the character's been around for over a decade. I mean, 2011 was when he debuted. So,
well, yeah, but I guess I'm not really understanding Neil's point then.
Well, I'm just saying that they're treating Miles and Peter as equals rather than Peter being the mentor out of obligation.
Well, I mean, okay, it's the way I see it is like this: like Batman and Robin. It's like they're not going to be equals. I don't think they're equals, and I think it's because Miles is still like, and again, in the continuity, he's going to be he's a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and has had the spider powers for what 2-3 years ish. Like that's kind of what the rough. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, sliding time scale.
Yeah, sliding time scale. So
well,
I think that like. So
Michael brings. Oh, sorry.
Well, let me finish this point. It's like Batman and Robin, right? It's like Tim Drake and Robin, Tim Drake. You know, Damien's a little different, but I hate Damien.
So
but whatever.
you're talking like 90s Batman with Tim Drake as Robin. Or Tim Drake is equal on intellectual level, but there is a youth difference, and so there is an experience difference, and that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. So there's a leadership aspect to this. So I don't think they're going to be complete equals. That doesn't jive. It doesn't work. If that was the case, if Wiseman goes that way, I highly question that. But I don't think he'll do that.
I'm not saying Peter doesn't have like life advice to give Miles, but it's not going to be like in the vein of Peter explicitly teaching Miles the ropes. It's going
to be more like how they are in the game, where they
learn as you go. Yeah.
And Mike, and I was about to say, Mike brought that up, that Marvel's kind of being led by the nose by their adaptations, and this. While I'm sure Wiseman came to them, there's certainly a synergistic component to it that that Peter and Miles are treated as Spider-Man and Spider-Man, not Spider-Man featuring Spider-Man.
Yeah, or like they've done with other adaptations, where it's like they have to come up with a different name, Arachnakid or Spidey,
or Spin,
like they do on the Amazing.
But that's different for kids to help them like differentiate the characters. So that's not the same thing, So I personally think that like the Spider-Man story is a great idea. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be. Again, I don't think it's going to be full on like sit down, Miles. Like I said, if you've ever read those original Batman '90s Tim Drake stuff, he's not just sitting there telling Tim what to do all the time. It's them working in unison, and then Batman may say, "Tim, take the flank here" or whatever, and then like that's what he does. That's what I think it's going to be. It's not like it's going to be. You're gonna listen when I say Miles because I am the and then it's like
or like how we saw in Spider-Boy, where or if you read the Superior Spider-Man issue today, where it was guest star.
I have not.
So there's that. There's a little bit of that with in that issue.
Yeah. I think it's I personally think it's about freaking time. It sucks that the comics are so behind on this. And being afraid of trying to put
this should have been a thing
together.
Like the minute Miles dropped into 616, this should have
been yes,
and even keeping the same dynamic of them being partners rather than mentor and mentee. I came up with this idea that if they really wanted to emphasize Peter and Kamala's friendship in this book to make her death more impactful, it should have been Peter kind of teaming up with her, not necessarily as like a mentor, because that kind of downplays her experience. Also, she's not his sidekick, but respecting her previous experience while also being willing to lend a hand if she needs it. But,
I think having her Berto Ramos on it is a great idea, because I think he's a super solid artist, and having like a very cartoony, less realism, more cartoony kind of abstract dimensions will add a lot more energy to the stories of two Spider-Men together. I think two Spider-Men in a realistic like Mike Deodato thing might be a little too overkill.
It'd be too serious. You want this to be fun.
I mean, why
like the video game, like the movies, you want it to be fun.
Wiseman is an animation guy, and his choice of artists on previous books, like if you read the Star Wars Rebels Kanan book, he chose Pepe Larraz. He got Pepe Larraz on his book, and he's nowhere near realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I feel this is a good, especially if you read Strange Academy, which I absolutely adored that first trade
Oh,
that
you
I
don't want to
read.
hear. You don't want me to hear what you don't want to hear what I called it earlier.
That's fine.
The Vanity
I love
Project.
it.
No,
think
I
it's
called
fantastic.
it Diet My Hero Academia.
Oh, that's right.
That's I have the first thing of My Hero Academia. I'm not sure if I'll read it anytime soon, but you know what? Either way, I really adored like this. I really adored that series because of Doctor Strange expanding the Mystic universe of the Marvel universe. So I'm not really, if it's a vanity project because it's owed his homage to My Hero Academia. That's fine. It works on my end. So
So
I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
final two things. I know you're excited for the new wave coming out in next year on the Marvel Legends.
Oh, I can't wait. Finally, my girl, dude. I finally read all of Hallows Eve's miniseries. I had the first couple of issues, and then like when I moved, I lost, like I couldn't get backtrack enough to get the other issues. So I'd like go back and like order them and get them. And I didn't want to read it until I got all the single issues together. So then I had like the special Halloween special, and I got to tell you, like I know the same writer wrote that annual which she was in, correct?
Yes.
I really like that writer. I forgot her name, but
Erica
she's
Schultz.
solid.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Yeah,
We've had her on the show.
Yeah, she's
On the network.
fantastic.
Yeah, she was good.
fantastic. I had no idea she was on the show. I thought she did a really good job of bringing Hallows Eve into like this sympathetic, but also still can maintain like this kind of uneasy, like uneasiness to her, but still have it kind of have that sympathy there, have it fun, be a little bit dark. It was a good balance. I was really impressed with like how she was able to balance the character of Hallows Eve without being, in my opinion, one way or the other. So yeah, I adored it. I adore that costume. The concept is Chef's Kiss. Mwah, love it.
Oh yeah, Paul. Have you read Tom Taylor's Friendly Neighborhood run?
I have actually. And I was just
the cop from that run is a supporting character in the Hallows Eve book.
Oh, yeah, is that the Asian gal? What was her name?
Yeah. Sheridan,
yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Sheridan.
Dude, that's deep cut because I had no.
I'm Babylon 5 on the brain. I said Sheridan. I don't think that's it.
But it's funny because I remember reading. I saw her and I'm like, she looks familiar to me. Like I couldn't tell. I brought up Tom Taylor's run. We should talk about that one day. For like a side episode or something, maybe for the binge, I'll bring it up for
we should
the Spider-Man Council because it's an interesting run because Tom Taylor is he's not a bad writer, but he's not my favorite writer. I don't always connect to his stuff.
He's Reddit's first deep writer. He's Reddit's first wholesome writer.
But you know what though? Like it's like he almost has Zdarsky syndrome where his overall main stories are just kind of they're fine, but then like he'll have like a single issue where it's it's a banger. Mm-hmm. And you're like, damn, like I and I'm talking about Spider-Bite. Spider-Bite's like this the kid who loves Spider-Man 2.0, which is still a fun story or sad story, and that's still pretty decent. I would say that my favorite story from that, I remember off the hand, it was a Mary Jane issue where she teams up with Miles. It's that is a fantastic comic book, so good. And a great cover too. So anyway, Tom Taylor side note, Spider-Man, I'm stoked. And I'm sorry. Back to the line. I need Jack-O-Lantern. I need Hallows Eve. What are other ones in that?
So you got Tombstone, Hallows Eve, you got Spider-Shot, you got Last Stand Spidey, and then Scarlet Spider.
I need Scarlet Spider. I need actual, obviously a 6-inch of that. And
this will be my fourth.
I passed them up, dude. I remember back in the day, like I would go to like when I first moved to my first house, we went to like this Fred Meyer, like kind of like a Target thing for West Coast people. We would go there when I first moved in there, and they for a while they had Marvel Legends and Black Series figures, and they just would like not move. And I remember they had Scarlet Spider there for like months, and I stared at it, being like, I don't need Scarlet Spider. I already have another Scarlet Spider here, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, like now, it like goes for a crap load of money. I'm like, God damn it. So it's just like, I should have picked up when I had the chance. But yeah,
this one I think is the definitive one because it gives you the flexibility. It doesn't break up the way they did the way they do the hoodie. That it enables you to keep that aesthetic without breaking it up with the ab crunch the way they did with the other two.
Yeah, so Jack O' Lantern looks incredible. I need Hollows, even Jack O' Lantern. Maybe I'll get Tombstone too, but I got to get those. I got to get those two for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, Paul. I guess is the final topic that you missed. Madam Webb. What do you think of 50 Shades of Webb?
Whoa.
Those are two different stories, buddy.
Well,
Same baby.
That is quite the fan fiction you have there, Neil. So
Thanks. It's a Twilight fic.
I know.
That's like a meta joke.
I didn't know if we were gonna do that for the MCU fan show, so I'll totally just give my deep thoughts on it here. And I did say deep.
That's what she says.
It's one of those things where I think I said to somebody else. I'm both utterly confused and intrigued by this movie because I don't think it looks good for the record. I don't think it looks like a good movie. Like
the costumes look great.
Yeah, well, hold on. Let me explain. A good movie to me, when I say that, I mean like a true like a movie that's anyone can sit down and watch and go, that was pretty good. Like these movies like Madame Webb. Madame Webb. I like Madame Webb.
What are you, French?
To be honest. Yeah, Madame
Webb. Oui.
So I would say, but movies like this that are fun, that are generated towards a very specific audience, and they know what it is. It's cheesy. I look at the. It's like Venom a little bit in that range. It's like I'm not sure if it'll take itself too seriously. I don't think it's gonna go too wacky like Venom, but I'm not sure if it's going to be full on, just kind of a little over the top at times. I mean, you have 3 Spider-Women characters. I mean, or 4 if you count Madame Webb. So I mean, like I don't know.
It's not
like,
gonna be a thing, isn't it?
So it's gonna be. I'm really intrigued because it doesn't look like a typical Marvel Studios film, and that is kind of fresh, to be quite honest. I mean, even Kraven the Hunter, which looks ridiculous as well. Like, I mean, there's something about these movies, both those movies, and I'm like, the fact they're not MCU films, it's kind of refreshing in a way, like a little bit, right?
I get the principle of the statement, but like, not Marvel should not be the floor for things being different.
No, I'm not saying it makes it good. It makes me more like interested in it, to be honest. Because if it was Marvel Studios and it was that, I'd be like, I don't know. But because Marvel, it's Sony, they take a lot more liberties than I think than obviously Marvel Studios would. And I think that's kind of
both a good and a bad thing. I think
it is. But I like the Venom movies fine. Like, they're ridiculous and they're bad, but in a great way. I'm hoping.
I think we need to do a Venom movie commentary
for sure.
The last time someone made a film saying let's compete with Marvel, we got Battleship.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing with Madame Web, which I think will be fun, is that like it's incorporating so many different aspects of Spider-Man's like mythology that like I thought I'd never see, like Ezekiel. Like, what the hell? Like, I had no idea he was gonna be the villain. I stay away from spoilers. And
sorry.
Go ahead.
We don't watch the earlier part of the episode because we kind of went in the IMDb page because I did not realize that one of the characters is a important character in Spider-Man's history.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, that's cool. I'm gonna try to stay away from spoilers, and I'm stoked about that. And like, I just want to have fun with it. And I think
it's not really a spoiler. It's just who a character is playing, and I'm like, oh,
I think I already know. I already kind of peripherally.
Is it Adam Scott?
Yeah, I think I know who. But I don't. Don't tell me. I want to forget because I
want to forget.
Well, no, what a raving review. I want to forget.
No, I want to forget because I want to like be fresh when I watch the movie. I happen to a lot of the spoilers that I read that I just kind of take out of my head and forget about it because my life is insane. So then I'll go and watch a movie and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it's just nice to kind of not have that spoilers.
Mike's elevator pitch was Madam Web is what do you get when you mash up Spider-Man, Terminator, Birds of Prey, and Groundhog Day. His answer was a bomb, but my answer is you get what you effing deserve.
Here's what I don't understand is like I don't know this movie will make any money. And I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
It's also coming out on Valentine's Day, and so that's going to be fun.
Take your date.
Your date.
Take your date to Madam Webb. Madam Webb in a Valentine's Day context sounds like a bondage film.
It's just weird. It's just so weird we're getting a Madam Webb movie, but the fact we're getting it, and again, the premise of like 3 different Spider-Woman characters is really interesting and kind of fun. And I think that, I mean, I look back at Valentine's Day. Daredevil came out on Valentine's Day, the original theatrical version, and you know
they
what?
had 2 Evanescence songs.
And you know what? That movie did really well, better than you probably thought. You know,
yeah, it did. It was the top movie at the box office for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 or 3 weeks.
Yes, and that
it was
and that,
it was a commercial success, but it was a critical failure because people didn't.
Yeah, but they don't give an F about critical critics. They care about the box office, and that's why they made a spin-off, and they tried to make a sequel to Daredevil. It's never could get it quite off the ground. You know, it wasn't.
I think it was the director was trying to write the script and then just couldn't get. Ben also
they kind of burned through every Daredevil, like all the big Daredevil stuff in the first movie. So it's like, where do we go from here?
Well, and there was talk about Guardian Devil, but like I know Ben. I think honestly, in my opinion, the movie didn't make enough money for the studios to put more money in pre-production. And that kind of just let it kind of, just kind of sail through. And because of, people thought it was going to be a superhero fatigue then, I mean, so they probably didn't want, it just wasn't a surefire thing, especially because it wasn't like a giant hit. It was a modest critical,
it was in the same it was the same realm of a hit that the first Fantastic Four movie did because it warranted a sequel. And that's that's what I said earlier. It reminds me of a 2000s.
Yeah. You know what though? Here's the thing. I want to know how much the movie actually cost to make, and that's where I think ultimately, because if that movie costs like $100 million to make, then I think no matter what, that movie will be successful.
Well, it has to also make back its marketing budget too. So,
okay, $200 million, but it's going to make. Let's just say this: that movie will make $200 million worldwide.
There's no budget.
That means they kept it on the wraps. It's probably, I'm guessing that the way that movie looks, it probably is going to be around what I'd say $100 million at most.
I'd say 50 because it does look like Joker tier effects.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my thing. Dakota Johnson's not going to garner a ton of money.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney is not going to garner a ton of money.
No, Sydney Sweeney. No, I'll say Sydney Sweeney is gonna draw a bit more than Dakota.
She's gonna draw
not a huge pay.
Sydney Sweeney is at least a draw. So
yeah, but she's not done any films. She's done primarily television.
Well, she did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and
But she's again, in it for like 5 minutes. No one knows who she is.
Right. She's more known. The stuff that she's more known for is television, not film.
Like prestige TV, not.
Yes. I mean, she's more known for her HBO work.
Yeah. And but that's what I'm saying though. Like, she's not going to warrant a giant payday. She'll make good money, but she's for us. But like compared to us, but like
she's not going to. She's not going to. To me, she's not going to earn more money that in terms of her. Yeah. Her than Dakota Johnson, who has done multiple.
Yeah. So here's what I'm
saying. Because Dakota's the lead. Sydney Sweeney's a supporting character.
So listen. So $200 million for like movie and promotion is how much it probably between 250. Which is I'm gonna say I think that's a pretty safe estimate. Between 250. That movie will make that budget. It'll make it back in worldwide easy. I think it'll make under 400, around 400 million box office. Under that, like probably between three and four, it'll make.
You can slot it between Morbius and Venom, and it's gonna be profitable
somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll make.
Morbius was a bomb. Morbius was a bomb, so you can't go any lower than that. Yeah, I think it's gonna break even and then crawl past that. At best,
I think that. I think it can make 350. I think it can make 350 worldwide.
Yeah, I think 350 is a good safe bet because I think, and that's probably I think 300 is probably where it's going to land because it's gonna be probably an enjoyable movie for young people because it's like got hot girls in it, right? I mean, it's got like the young factor going into it. You've got also the fact that superheroes, Marvel, Spider-Man. It's got a Spider-Man looking character. People are gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, there's a lot going for it that way, and so that alone will probably get it to like probably what 70, 80 million of the box office opening weekend.
I do think it doesn't have the same. I think it's going to go towards on the spectrum of Morbius to Venom. It's probably going to lean closer to the Morbius. I don't think it's going to perform as badly as Morbius because, like I said, that's like the lowest.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think we're overestimating the value of Spider-Man characters that aren't Spider-Man as far as profitability.
We'll see what happens. Again, we'll get more information as we get a little closer. I mean, obviously this is first trailer, so we'll get some more info as we get.
I think that the people will be like, "What the hell is it?" Like they'll be more intrigued. Like, what are all these characters? What's this?
Sony's going to push.
Like,
I guarantee you will get the final trailer will come out Super Bowl Sunday. I could see Sony, throwing a chunk of money for Super Bowl Sunday to get people like as a high profile spot because it's going to be happening around the same week that the film Sunday, debuts.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say this. I will be. My money's in. It'll make 300 million worldwide, a little over that, and it'll be a modest hit potentially. Unless it's complete dog shit. If it's complete dog shit, then it'll bomb out like Morbius. But if it's like somewhat, if it's okay, it's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking by any means. It's an average like superhero movie. Like let's say it's Marvel's level, which I enjoyed Marvel's. If it's on that level of like quality, then it'll make 300 million no problem.
And I think I talked with Mike about this in the Crawlspace Discord that Marvel Marvel Studios specifically needs to get their budgets under control. Their movies don't look like $250 million features. They look like they were filmed on the Mandalorian stagecraft, and that's because they were. But
reshoots are a big part of that too.
That's what I'm saying is that we shouldn't be like restructuring the entire third act a month before release. And I think if Sony keep their costs down, I think if they can keep the budget under 100 million, they've got a better chance of breaking even than the Marvels does, because the Marvels needs to make like 500 million just to break even.
Well, yeah, but the Marvels. But see, a couple of things of that real quick, and then we'll get out of here. But okay, obviously, Kevin Feige, he's made his bread and butter is through post production. His bread and butter is figuring out what the movie doesn't have and doesn't work and fixing it in post. Like in reshoots. That's what he's done since the beginning, and he's had huge success. So the Marvels was a little bit different because
by adding all the Disney Plus stuff on top of the films, it is certainly he spread way too thin.
And that's changed, and that's going to be good. So I just and for the Marvels, I think it's just bad timing, bad circumstance, and I think just they didn't have the writers strike.
They had the writer and SAG strikes, so they couldn't. So, I said, I'm not. I have nothing against the Marvels. I'm actually looking forward to it because I want to go see it with my mom.
It's fun,
but I do think there is a certain reality that Marvel as a whole needs to reckon with as far as the cost of their productions as well as the marketing component.
And so I think like that's going to happen. I think Blade will be toned down. I think they're gonna get
cut some.
Blade is just a game of chicken to see who will quit first at this point.
Blade that has become a absolute cursed project.
This is the Marvel version of the Flash. I know that's like a hot take, but
I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna go that far because it's only gone through one director and one writer, and
hasn't it gone through like 4 different? Didn't it go through 4 drafts under 2 different writers?
Yeah,
there's been.
That was reported a couple weeks ago.
For draft, well, that was from the Variety article, which I'm not sure if everything in that Variety article is 100%.
That is what we have to go off of. So
no, I agree. Well, and it's also a hit piece in some ways. So I mean, like,
that was definitely done in a style, written in a style that was very much a attack.
Attack. Yeah. So and the thing is with Marvel is that they've got a lot to go. They have a lot to go on, and they'll have to get their budgets under control. And like I said, here's the thing. Remember, this is a movie like Madam Web is if it breaks a little over even, then it's gonna make money for them. You know, like people want to say like
the
Eternals-
expectations for a Sony Pictures movie versus a Marvel and Disney movie are entirely different stratospheres. They're different levels of the atmosphere, and I think people need to take that into account because expectations for everybody but Disney right now should be relatively modest. And Disney, because of the fact that they are so big, they own so much IP, they have had so much success. There was always going to be a regression to the mean. I just don't think people anticipated it going the way it's gone, but it's also because of the fact, and Iger's addressed this publicly in investor calls, the quantity over quality that he pushed for, he's going to blame JPEG for, but he was in charge when all this was in development.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to point out that because the VFX studios are starting to unionize, which is great in my opinion, and I think once they start rallying and coalesce, that Marvel is going to have to figure out how to streamline their production process post production, because they're not going to they're going to have the bargaining power to not do an entire third act and re-CGI it through 12 different studios 2 months before release.
They can do that. They'll have to move the release date out.
To me, Disney just kind of had a perfect storm of everything going wrong at once for this release. But I think it is indicative of a trend, and I do hope that something comes out of the SAG-AFTRA and WGA stuff. That for the main priority needs to be improving the quality of life for the production staff. That above all else, to me, is the priority when it comes to these movies, is ensuring that while the return on investment is important, the quality of life for the people behind the scenes.
Well, I mean, you tripled the output again with all the Disney Plus stuff, and we're getting into this whole MCU thing that we could literally talk about for an hour.
This is like its own episode. So
that should be probably its own episode. So, and maybe we do that. I don't want to cross too many streams with Paul because I know he's got MCU show, and we keep that separate. But
that's fine.
But that being said,
gamers unite.
So have you? My last question, because we did briefly touch it, is have you picked up Spider-Man 2 yet? I know you got a PS5.
I have not, because I have not picked up or I've not played Miles yet, and I promised Chris, the Reverend, I'd play Miles first. So,
ooh, fake fan, fake fan.
Has Chris played? Does he have the game?
Oh, he already beat it, man. Are you kidding me? Like, dude's
okay.
Big,
well, the reason
hang
on.
He's one of the biggest gamers I know.
The reason I'm asking is I'm to quote Kamala Khan, quoting Nick Fury, I'm gathering a team of people that have played the game. So if Chris wants to come on the show after eventually I play it and beat it, then we'll just get everybody together and we'll just we'll talk about it.
He'll do it. He'll ask him. He'll do it. Adam knows. He'll do. He's game for whatever. Adam knows Chris. He's all about it. Chris will, if he can, he will.
But I would love for you to be a part of it, because we could stream it on Binge and stuff.
So. Yeah, I honestly, man, it's gonna be probably next year till I can touch it. Well in the next year, because I don't
have a PS5 yet, so it may end up being next year.
I might beat you if depending on how fast they get their PC port out. I might beat you guys to it.
Yeah, well, you might. Well, I still have to beat Survivor or Day of Survivor. So I'm like, it's video games and me are just not. I like video games. I'm just not a big gamer. I like games I can just lose. I can lose myself and or I can put on a podcast and just shoot people for a while, like Battlefront. But I don't like shoot. I don't like other games.
You don't like the Souls games.
Yeah, I really just I like an IP I know and can get get behind. That's what I can get more into. That's why I like Battlefront. If I get my ass kicked for a while, took my ass kicked as like a stormtrooper, I'm okay with that.
Man,
So,
you should
like,
not see me. You should not see me playing Halo. That game's sweaty as hell.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna play it eventually. I'm looking forward to it. You know, like I just think right now in my life, it's like it's basically goes comics, and then like, you know, besides family, obviously, family, then like comics, and then like sports, and then that's pretty much where it goes down to. And I gotta figure out creative writing at some point again, get back on that track. I've been really slacking in it, so you know, it's one of those things where it's like games are just my at least. But I'll say this: when sports are going bad and I get bummed out, I definitely throw on some video games and I kind of get lost again. So games are good. What's the word? Healer for the sports blues. Which
Your palate
feeling
cleanser for when sports are going bad. So
yes, exactly. Great point.
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's with that. Oh wait, let me click that button. There we go. So with that being said, we are going to wrap up this episode of the Spideydude Experience. Is the music playing?
No.
Nope.
Anyways.
All right. So
shout out to our Patreon.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching. Those that stayed through all the entirety of this episode. Why don't you give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers? You're seeing them up on the screen if you're watching us live on YouTube. Adam, Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Janelle, Jessica, Greg, Jurgen, Catherine, Kale, Keegar, Laura, Howard, Lumpmoose, Master Drammond, Phoenician, Scott, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you guys for your support. I got our VIPs, Scott McGraw, Sebastian Vinkman, and Winnipeg Webhead. Thank you guys again. To Sarah Petzel, also, thank you for being a spectacular Patreon. And our friendly neighborhood tier, you see them on the screen. You'll hear them on the audio edition. Of course, once again, got to check out our other shows like Clone Saga Chronicle, Clone Saga Chronicle Spectacular Radio, ASM Classics, Salby Summit Era Podcast, Voices from the Eerie, Spidey Slot Symposium, Books of X, Make Mine Mayday as well. If you have not checked that out. For those of you that are waiting for another episode of Make Mine Mayday, we'll have it coming out relatively soon, and we'll have some more other stuff. So check us out over on our various social media platforms at Spideydude Radio on Twitter/X, at Spideydude Network, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us if you've not subscribed to us on YouTube, Spideydude Radio Network on YouTube, and then you can also leave us a voicemail. You can have your voice on the show, 818-925-6631. That is the voicemail line for all the shows here on the Spideydude Radio Network. So just let us know what show you're calling about and leave it under 3 minutes. And we'll play it on the respective shows. Of course, leave us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing if you're listening to the audio edition by leaving us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting catcher. Any and all feedback will be read on future episodes. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being a part of the channel, and we will see you next time when we're covering the Gang War here on the Spideydude Radio Network.